The Nashville skyline glowed amber beneath the setting sun, as Emily Caldwell sat in her corner office on Music Row, the glass windows reflecting the city she'd helped shape over the past 2 decades. At 43, she was a force in the country music industry, a senior vice president at Meridian Records, the woman whose phone calls could make or break careers. Her desk was cluttered with demo CDs, contract proposals, and a framed photo of her daughter Claire that had been taken 3 years ago. Emily rubbed her temples, feeling the familiar tension headache building. It was 7:47 p.m. on a Thursday, and she'd missed another dinner at home. Her phone buzzed with a text from her assistant, reminding her about tomorrow's breakfast meeting with a promising new artist. She swiped it away and noticed 3 missed calls from Claire. Her stomach twisted with guilt. The drive home to their house in Belle Meade took 20 minutes through light traffic. The neighborhood was quiet, lined with historic mansions and perfectly manicured lawns. Their own home, a colonial-style estate with white columns, looked beautiful but somehow cold in the evening light. Emily pulled into the driveway next to her ex-husband's old parking spot, empty for 5 years now since the divorce. Inside, the house was silent, except for the distant sound of music coming from upstairs. Emily set her briefcase down and kicked off her heels, her feet aching after another 14-hour day. The kitchen was spotless. Their housekeeper, Mrs. Rodriguez, had left dinner covered in the refrigerator with a note that Claire had already eaten. "Claire?" Emily called up the stairs. "Honey, I'm home." No response, just the continued drift of music, something twangy and distinctly country. Emily climbed the stairs, her stockinged feet silent on the plush carpet. The music grew louder as she approached Claire's room, and she recognized the voice. Reba McEntire. Her daughter had been obsessed with classic country lately, though Emily couldn't understand why a 16-year-old would prefer music from the 80s and 90s over what her peers were listening to. Emily knocked softly on the door. "Claire, can I come in?" "I'm doing homework," came the muffled reply. Emily opened the door anyway, finding her daughter sprawled on her bed with her laptop open, but clearly not focused on any schoolwork. Claire had grown so much in the past year. She was nearly Emily's height now, with the same dark hair, but her father's blue eyes. Those eyes looked up at her mother with barely concealed annoyance. "How was school?" Emily asked, trying to inject warmth into her voice despite her exhaustion. "Fine." "Just fine?" Claire shrugged, turning her attention back to her laptop. "Yeah, fine." Emily noticed the poster on the wall that hadn't been there last week. Reba McEntire in full concert regalia, mid-performance. New poster? Yeah. The one-word answers felt like walls going up between them. Emily sat on the edge of the bed, trying to bridge the gap. "I'm sorry I missed dinner again. The meeting ran late and then—" "It's okay," Claire interrupted, her tone making it clear it wasn't okay at all. "Mrs. Rodriguez made lasagna. It's in the fridge. Did you call me earlier? I saw I missed some calls." Claire's jaw tightened slightly. "It wasn't important. If you called 3 times, it must have been somewhat important." For a moment, Emily thought her daughter might open up, might let her in. But Claire just shook her head. It was about the school talent show next month. They wanted parent volunteers for setup. "But I already told them you'd be busy." The words stung more than Emily wanted to admit. "I didn't say I couldn't help. Mom, you work like 80 hours a week. I'm not stupid. I know you don't have time for school stuff." "That's not fair, Claire. I'm trying to provide for us." "I know. You always say that." Claire closed her laptop with more force than necessary. "Can I just finish my homework now? I have a biology test tomorrow." Emily wanted to argue, wanted to explain that every late night and missed dinner was because she was building something, securing their future. But the exhaustion won out. She stood up, smoothing her skirt. "Okay, I'll be downstairs if you need anything." "Sure." As Emily closed the door behind her, she heard Reba's voice rising again, singing about life's simple pleasures and the importance of holding on to what matters. The irony wasn't lost on her. The next morning arrived with the sharp sound of Emily's alarm at 5:30 a.m. She went through her usual routine: shower, makeup, power suit, while the house remained quiet. By the time Claire shuffled downstairs at 7:15, Emily was already reviewing contracts on her tablet. "Morning, sweetheart," Emily said, glancing up. "Want me to make you some eggs?" Claire poured herself a bowl of cereal. "This is fine." They ate in silence. The clink of spoons against bowls, the only sound. Emily kept stealing glances at her daughter, noticing the dark circles under her eyes. "Did you sleep okay?" "Yeah." "You look tired." "I'm fine, Mom." Claire finished her cereal quickly and rinsed the bowl. "I've got to go. Jessica's mom is picking me up." "Already? It's only 7:30. School doesn't start until 8. We're working on a project before class." Emily nodded, knowing she should probably know more about this project, but drawing a blank. "Okay, have a good day. Love you." "You too." Claire grabbed her backpack and was out the door before Emily could say anything else. The house felt even emptier after she left. Emily finished her coffee, gathered her things, and headed to her car. The breakfast meeting was at 8:30 at a cafe downtown, and traffic was already starting to build. At Hillsborough High School, Claire walked through the crowded hallways with her best friend Jessica Patterson, trying to ignore the whispers that seemed to follow her everywhere lately. It had started 3 weeks ago when she'd made the mistake of speaking up in English class about a poem she'd connected with. Some deeply personal interpretation that had made sense to her but apparently made her weird to everyone else. "Just ignore them," Jessica whispered as they passed a group of girls from the volleyball team. "They're idiots." "I know," Claire said, but her voice lacked conviction. The truth was, ignoring them was getting harder. The whispers had evolved into subtle exclusion. Group chats she was suddenly removed from. Study sessions she wasn't invited to anymore. Seats that were mysteriously saved when she tried to sit down at lunch. Nothing overt enough to report to teachers, but enough to make her feel like an outsider in her own school. They reached their lockers, and Claire spun her combination lock with practiced efficiency. Inside, tucked behind her biology textbook, was a flyer for the talent show auditions happening after school next week. She'd been thinking about it for days, working up the courage. "You should do it," Jessica said, noticing where Claire's gaze had landed. "I don't know. It's kind of scary. You have an amazing voice. Remember last year when we sang at the spring concert? Mrs. Henderson said you were the best soprano she'd heard in years." Claire pulled out her books for first period. "That was chorus. This is different. This is solo, in front of the whole school. So, they need to hear how talented you are. Maybe if they saw you up there, actually doing something amazing, they'd stop being such jerks." It was tempting. Claire had been singing along to Reba McEntire's songs in her room for months now, perfecting every note, every inflection. There was something about Reba's voice, the strength, the vulnerability, the way she could make you feel every emotion in a song, that spoke to Claire in a way nothing else did. "Maybe," she said, non-committally. The bell rang, and they headed to their separate first-period classes. Claire's was AP History with Mr. Phillips, and she slid into her usual seat near the back just as the late bell rang. Throughout the lecture on the Civil War, her mind wandered to the talent show. She could picture herself on that stage, microphone in hand, the spotlight warm on her face, maybe singing something like Fancy or Is There Life Out There? Songs that said something, that meant something. But then she imagined the whispers afterward, the mockery, The girls laughing about her choice of music, calling her old-fashioned or out of touch. Her resolve wavered. Meanwhile, across town in a sleek conference room, Emily was wrapping up a negotiation with a young artist named Tyler Brooks and his manager. The kid had talent, real, raw talent, but his team wanted terms that would set a dangerous precedent. "I understand your concerns," Emily said, keeping her voice level and professional. "But Meridian Records has been in this business for 40 years. We know how to build lasting careers, not just viral moments. The standard royalty split we're offering is more than fair, especially for a debut album." Tyler's manager, a sharp-dressed man named Derek Chen, leaned back in his chair. "With all due respect, Ms. Caldwell, Tyler's TikTok following alone is worth more than what you're valuing him at. He has 3 million followers and growing. He doesn't need a label to make it big." Emily smiled, the kind of smile that had won her countless negotiations. "You're absolutely right. Tyler could continue independently. But let me ask you something. How many independent country artists have headlined the Grand Ole Opry? How many have won CMAs or been inducted into the Hall of Fame? There's a reason the biggest names in country music have label backing. We open doors that social media followers can't." She watched Tyler's face as she spoke. He was 22, talented but naive about the industry's realities. His eyes flickered with uncertainty. "Think about it," Emily continued, sliding a revised contract across the table. "This offer stands until Monday. After that, we're moving on to other artists. I believe in Tyler's potential, but business is business." Derek opened his mouth to respond, but Tyler spoke first. "Can we have the weekend to discuss it?" "Of course," Emily said warmly. "Take all the time you need. Just remember, opportunities like this don't come around often." After they left, Emily's assistant, Brandon Hayes, poked his head in. "That was masterful. You had them eating out of your hand." Emily gathered her papers, trying to ignore the slight twist of discomfort in her chest. "It's just negotiation. Everyone wins if it's done right. Your 2 p.m. with the marketing team is in 15 minutes. And your daughter's school called. Something about needing permission for a field trip?" Emily paused. "Claire's school called? What field trip?" Brandon consulted his notes. "To the Country Music Hall of Fame next month. They need the permission slips signed and returned by Friday." "Okay, I'll handle it." Emily made a mental note, though she knew she'd probably forget again. Her mind was already moving to the marketing meeting, to the new album launch they were planning for one of their biggest artists. The afternoon blurred by in a succession of meetings, phone calls, and decisions. By the time Emily looked up from her desk, it was 6:45 p.m. and dark outside. Her stomach growled. She'd skipped lunch again. She packed up her things and headed home, stopping at a Thai restaurant to pick up takeout. Maybe she and Claire could have dinner together tonight. Actually, talk about something beyond one-word answers. But when Emily arrived home at 7:30, she found Claire already in her room again, door closed, music playing. This time it was quieter, and Emily recognized the song, "The Greatest Man I Never Knew," one of Reba's more emotional ballads. Emily stood outside the door for a moment, listening. Then she heard something that made her heart clench. Claire was singing along, and there was a rawness in her voice, a pain that Emily hadn't realized her daughter was carrying. She knocked softly. "Claire, I brought Thai food. Your favorite. Pad Thai with extra peanuts." A pause, then, "I already ate." "Oh, okay." Emily felt her shoulders sag. "Well, it's here if you get hungry later." "Thanks." Emily retreated downstairs, eating her pad thai alone at the kitchen table. The house silent except for the faint music from upstairs. She pulled out her phone and scrolled through her emails, responding to a few urgent ones while she ate. Work was easier than this. The constant rejection from her own daughter. The growing chasm between them that she didn't know how to bridge. Her phone buzzed with a text from her sister, Lauren Mitchell. "How's my favorite niece doing? Haven't heard from you guys in weeks." Emily typed back, "She's good. Busy with school. You know how teenagers are." Lauren's response came quickly. "That's code for, she's pulling away, and I don't know what to do. Want to talk about it?" Emily stared at the message for a long moment, then typed, "Not tonight. Exhausted. Maybe this weekend? You always say that. Call me when you're ready. Love you." "Love you too." Emily finished her dinner and cleaned up, then settled onto the couch with her laptop to review tomorrow's schedule. At some point, she dozed off, waking at 11:30 p.m. to the house completely dark and silent. She dragged herself upstairs, pausing at Claire's door. No light showed underneath, and the music had stopped. In her own room, Emily changed into pajamas and climbed into bed, feeling the emptiness of the king-size mattress. This wasn't how she'd imagined her life turning out. Divorced, estranged from her daughter, married to her job. But she didn't know how to change it, didn't know how to be anything other than what she'd become. Tomorrow would be better, she told herself. Tomorrow, she'd make time for Claire. Tomorrow, she'd bridge the gap. But tomorrow came with its own emergencies, its own demands, and the pattern continued. The following week arrived with an unexpected cold snap that turned Nashville's normally mild November weather frigid. Emily woke on Monday to frost coating the windows and a text from Brandon warning her that two of their artists had gotten into a public dispute on social media overnight. "Great," she muttered, scrolling through the screenshots he'd sent. Just what we need. By the time she arrived at the office at 7 a.m., a full crisis management plan was already in motion. The next 3 days passed in a blur of damage control, press statements, and tense phone calls with publicists. Emily barely saw Claire, leaving before she woke up and returning after she'd gone to bed. On Thursday morning, Emily finally caught Claire at breakfast. Her daughter was picking at a piece of toast, staring at her phone with an expression Emily couldn't quite read. "Everything okay?" Emily asked, pouring herself coffee. Claire looked up, seeming surprised to see her mother. "Yeah, just school stuff." "What kind of school stuff?" "Nothing important." Claire stood abruptly, grabbing her backpack. "I've got to go early today. Study group. It's 7 a.m. School doesn't start for an hour. The library opens at 7:30. We're reviewing for the bio test." Emily wanted to press further, but Claire was already heading for the door. "Wait, do you have money for lunch?" "Yeah, Mom, I'm fine." The door closed behind her with a soft click, leaving Emily alone with her coffee and a growing sense that something was wrong. But she had a breakfast meeting in 40 minutes, and there wasn't time to dwell on it. At school, Claire wasn't going to any study group. She walked to the library alone, her breath forming clouds in the cold morning air, and settled into a corner table in the back where no one would bother her. She pulled out her phone and opened the messages she'd been trying to ignore. The group chat, the one she'd been removed from weeks ago, had screenshots from a private conversation she'd had with Jessica about her anxiety. Someone had betrayed her confidence, and now intimate details about her struggles with feeling invisible, about her mom never being around, about how singing was the only thing that made her feel alive. All of it was being mocked and dissected by girls she'd considered friends just a month ago. Her hands shook as she scrolled through the messages. There were edited screenshots, too, words taken out of context to make her sound desperate or pathetic. And underneath, the comments, "So dramatic, LOL. Who even says stuff like this? Attention seeker much?" Claire closed the app and put her head down on the table, fighting tears. The worst part was she couldn't even tell her mom. Emily was so wrapped up in her work so distant lately that Claire didn't want to burden her with teenage drama. Besides, what would she say? That she was being cyberbullied by girls who used to be her friends? It sounded trivial compared to her mom's high-stakes business deals. "Hey," she thought. Jessica's voice made her look up. Her friend slid into the seat across from her, face full of concern. "I saw the messages. Claire, I'm so sorry. I don't know who leaked that conversation, but it wasn't me, I swear." "I know," Claire said quietly. She believed Jessica. They'd been friends since 5th grade. It doesn't matter who did it. Everyone's seen it now. "Did you report it to the principal?" "And say what? That some girls are being mean to me online? They'll just say it's not their problem if it happened outside school." Jessica reached across the table and squeezed her hand. "This is so messed up. You don't deserve this." "Maybe I do. Maybe I shouldn't have said all that stuff. Maybe I am being dramatic." "Stop. You were confiding in a friend. That's normal. They're the ones being horrible." Jessica paused, then added carefully, "Have you talked to your mom about any of this?" Claire shook her head. "She's been working crazy hours. Some artist drama or something. I barely see her. Maybe that's exactly why you should tell her. She'd want to know if you're struggling." Would she? Or would she just feel guilty and work even harder to distract herself? The bitterness in Claire's own voice surprised her. "Sorry, that was harsh, but probably honest," Jessica said gently. "Look, I know your relationship with your mom is complicated, but you can't keep all this inside. It's eating you alive." The librarian walked past, giving them a look that suggested they should be studying rather than talking. They quieted until she passed. "The talent show auditions are tomorrow after school," Jessica said. "Are you going to do it?" Claire had been thinking about it constantly. Part of her wanted to back out, to hide, to not give those girls any more ammunition. But another part, the part that came alive when she sang, when she lost herself in music, that part was stubborn. That part wanted to prove something, even if she wasn't sure what. "I think so," she said finally. "I've been practicing." "What song?" "Fancy. The Reba McEntire version." Jessica's eyes widened. "That's ambitious. It's like 6 minutes long and has that whole story arc." "I know, but I love it. And if I'm going to do this, I want to do it right." "You're going to be amazing." Jessica smiled. "When's the last time anyone at this school did actual classic country? Everyone always does pop or hip-hop. You'll stand out." "That's what I'm afraid of," Claire admitted. "Standing out hasn't exactly worked well for me lately. Standing out for the right reasons is different. Let them see what you're really made of." That evening, Emily arrived home at 8:30 p.m. to find Claire in the kitchen making a sandwich. It was the first time they'd been in the same room for more than 2 minutes in days. "Hey," Emily said, setting down her briefcase. "Sorry I'm late. The studio session ran over." "It's okay." Claire didn't look up from spreading peanut butter. Emily noticed her daughter's eyes were red, like she'd been crying. "Claire, are you okay?" "I'm fine." "You don't look fine. Your eyes are puffy." "I'm just tired." Claire finished making her sandwich and wrapped it in a paper towel. "I've got a lot of homework." Emily stepped closer, trying to catch her daughter's gaze. "Talk to me, please. Something's been off with you lately, and I feel like I'm missing something important." For a moment, Claire's composure wavered. Her lip trembled, and Emily thought she might finally open up. But then Claire shook her head. "It's nothing. Just school stress. I'm handling it. You can talk to me about school stress. I know I've been busy, but I'm still your mom. I'm here for you. Are you?" The words came out sharper than Claire seemed to intend. She closed her eyes, took a breath. "Sorry, I didn't mean it like that." "Yes, you did. And maybe you're right to feel that way." Emily pulled out a chair and sat down, gesturing for Claire to do the same. I know I've been working a lot lately. Too much, probably. And I know I've missed dinners and morning conversations. But that doesn't mean I don't care about what's going on with you. Claire remained standing, her sandwich clutched in both hands. You say that, but your actions say something different. When's the last time you asked me about anything that wasn't surface level? When's the last time you actually listened? The accusation stung because it was true. Emily tried to remember their last real conversation and came up empty. You're right. I've been distant, but I'm trying to change that. Starting now. Talk to me. Claire looked torn, like she wanted to believe but couldn't quite bring herself to. The talent show auditions are tomorrow, she said finally. After school. Talent show? The one I mentioned last week. I'm going to audition. Emily felt a flash of guilt that she'd forgotten entirely. That's wonderful. What are you going to perform? A song. Fancy by Reba McEntire. That's ambitious. It's a challenging song. I know. I've been practicing for weeks. Claire's expression shifted to something defensive. Not that you'd know. You haven't heard me singing. The criticism hit its mark. Emily stood up, moving closer to her daughter. Then, let me hear you now. Sing it for me. What? No? I'm not ready. You just said you've been practicing for weeks. Come on. I want to hear my talented daughter sing. Claire backed away slightly. Mom, it's not the same as performing it alone in my room. I need the right environment, the right mindset. Okay, I won't push. Emily held up her hands in surrender. But I want you to know I'm proud of you for auditioning. That takes courage. Thanks. Claire headed toward the stairs with her sandwich. I'm going to study now. Claire, Emily called after her. What time are auditions tomorrow? 3:30, right after school. I'll be there. Claire turned back, surprise and skepticism mixing on her face. You don't have to. I know you're busy. I'll be there. Emily repeated firmly. I promise. For the first time in weeks, something like hope flickered in Claire's eyes. Okay. Thanks, Mom. After Claire went upstairs, Emily pulled out her phone and opened her calendar. Tomorrow's schedule was packed. Back-to-back meetings from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., including a crucial negotiation with a potential distributor at 3 p.m. She stared at the screen, calculating. The school was 20 minutes from her office. If she left at 3:15, she could make it by 3:35, maybe 3:40 if traffic was bad. She texted Brandon, "Need to reschedule tomorrow's 3 p.m. meeting with Peterson. Family emergency." His response came quickly. "Is everything okay?" "Yes. Just need to be somewhere for Claire. Can we move it to earlier in the day? Or Friday? Let me check with Peterson's assistant. I'll get back to you." Emily set her phone down and looked up at the ceiling, toward where she imagined Claire's room was. She'd made so many promises over the years, promises to be more present, to put family first, to not let work consume everything. And she'd broken most of them. But tomorrow would be different. Tomorrow she'd show up. She had to. Friday morning dawned gray and drizzly. The kind of weather that made Nashville feel smaller somehow. More intimate. Claire woke before her alarm, her stomach a knot of anxiety. Today was the day. The audition that could either validate all those hours of practice or confirm her worst fears that she didn't belong on stage. She picked out her clothes carefully, not too dressy, not too casual. Jeans and a burgundy blouse that her Aunt Lauren had given her for her birthday. Simple, but put together. In the mirror, she practiced her confident face, the one that said, "I belong here," even when she didn't feel it. Downstairs, she found her mom already dressed in a sharp navy suit, makeup flawless, scrolling through her phone with that familiar, focused expression. "Morning," Emily said, looking up with a smile. "Big day. How are you feeling?" "Nervous," Claire admitted, pouring herself orange juice with slightly shaky hands. "That's normal. I get nervous before big presentations, too." Emily set her phone down. Actually, set it down. Screen face down on the table. "Want to run through the song one more time?" Claire shook her head. "If I overthink it now, I'll psych myself out. I just need to trust my preparation." Smart thinking. Emily studied her daughter for a moment. "You look beautiful, by the way. That color really suits you." "Thanks." Claire felt a small warmth spread through her chest at the compliment. "You're still coming, right? To the audition?" "Absolutely. I moved my afternoon meeting. Nothing's more important than being there for you." Claire wanted to believe her but kept her expectations tempered. How many times had her mom promised to attend school events only to cancel last minute? But she nodded and tried to look grateful. "Okay, good." They ate breakfast together, and for once the silence between them wasn't uncomfortable. Emily asked about Claire's classes, actually listened to the answers, and shared a funny story about one of her artists who'd accidentally posted an embarrassing video thinking it was going to a private chat. "That's mortifying," Claire said, laughing. "Did they have to do damage control?" "Oh, yeah. Our PR team earned their salary that day." Emily glanced at her watch. "I hate to rush out, but I've got an early meeting. But I'll see you at 3:30. Break a leg." "Thanks, Mom." After Emily left, Claire cleaned up the breakfast dishes and gathered her things for school. Jessica texted, "Today's the day. You ready to blow everyone's minds?" Claire typed back, "Ready to either blow their minds or embarrass myself spectacularly. No middle ground. You're going to be amazing. See you at lunch." The school day crawled by with agonizing slowness. Claire could barely focus in any of her classes, her mind constantly drifting to the audition. She'd chosen Fancy because it told a story she connected with. About overcoming circumstances, about rising above, about becoming something more than what you started as. She knew every word, every note, every emotional beat of the song. At lunch, she and Jessica sat at their usual table near the windows. The cafeteria was loud with Friday energy. Everyone excited for the weekend. Claire picked at her salad, too nervous to eat much. "You need to eat something," Jessica urged. "You can't sing on an empty stomach." "I know. I'm trying." Claire managed a few bites, then pushed the salad away. "What if I forget the words?" "You won't." "What if my voice cracks?" "It won't." "What if everyone laughs?" Jessica reached across the table and grabbed her hand. "Then I'll fight them." "But they won't laugh, Claire. You're genuinely talented. Even if those jerks don't appreciate it, the judges will." From across the cafeteria, Claire caught sight of Madison Pierce and her group, the volleyball girls who'd been making her life miserable. They were looking her way and whispering, probably about the leaked messages. Claire felt her courage faltering. "Don't look at them," Jessica said firmly. "They don't matter. Focus on you, on your performance. That's what matters." "You're right." Claire took a deep breath. "I'm overthinking this. Way overthinking. You've got this." The afternoon classes were slightly better, since Claire forced herself to focus on taking notes and participating. Anything to keep her mind off the audition. When the final bell rang at 3:15, her heart started hammering. Jessica walked with her to the auditorium. "I'm going to sit in the audience and cheer you on. You're going to see my face in the crowd, and you're going to remember that you're not alone." "Thank you. Seriously, I don't know what I'd do without you. You'd be fine. You're stronger than you think." Jessica gave her a quick hug. "Now, go warm up and show them what you've got." The auditorium was already buzzing with activity. Students were scattered throughout the seats. some chatting excitedly, others looking as nervous as Claire felt. The stage was set with a single microphone stand and a piano off to the side. The judges, Mrs. Henderson from the music department, Mr. Phillips from drama, and Ms. Chen, the assistant principal, sat at a table in the front row with clipboards. Claire checked in with Mrs. Henderson, who smiled warmly. "Claire Caldwell, right? I remember you from chorus last year. You have a lovely voice." "Thank you. What will you be performing today?" "Fancy" by Reba McEntire. Mrs. Henderson's eyebrows rose. "Ambitious choice. That's a powerful song. Do you have a backing track?" "Yes, ma'am." Claire handed over her phone with the instrumental version loaded and ready. "Excellent. You're number 14 in the lineup. We'll call you when it's your turn." Claire found a seat in the back to wait, her hands clasped tightly in her lap. She watched as other students performed. A mix of singing, dancing, and one impressive guitar solo. Some were excellent, some were clearly unprepared, but everyone got polite applause. At 3:35, Claire checked her phone. No messages from her mom. She told herself that was good. It meant Emily was on her way, not canceling. She'd be here any minute. 3:40. Still no message. Claire's stomach twisted with a familiar disappointment, but she pushed it down. Maybe traffic was bad. Maybe Mom was already in the building. 3:45. Her hands were starting to sweat. She wiped them on her jeans and tried to focus on the current performer, a junior doing a contemporary dance piece. "Number 14, Claire Caldwell," Mrs. Henderson called. This was it. Claire stood up, her legs feeling shaky, and made her way to the stage. She climbed the steps, suddenly aware of how many eyes were on her. She scanned the audience quickly. There was Jessica, giving her an enthusiastic thumbs up, but no sign of her mom. Mrs. Henderson handed her the microphone. "Whenever you're ready, dear." Claire nodded and positioned herself center stage. The familiar opening notes of "Fancy" began to play through the speakers, and she closed her eyes for a moment, finding her center. This was her moment. She could do this. She began to sing. The first verse came out strong, her voice steady and clear. She let herself sink into the character of the song, a poor girl from a desperate situation, being given a red dancing dress and sent out into the world to survive. The story unfolded through her voice, each word carefully enunciated, each emotion genuine. As she moved into the chorus, Claire felt something shift inside her. The nervousness melted away, replaced by the pure joy of performance. This was why she sang, for this feeling of being completely present, completely alive. The stage wasn't scary anymore. It was home. She hit the high notes with confidence, her voice ringing through the auditorium. Out in the audience, she could see people sitting up straighter, paying attention. Even Madison and her crew had stopped whispering. The bridge of the song was the most emotional part, and Claire let herself feel every word. She thought about her own life, about feeling invisible, about wanting to be something more, about the complicated relationship with her mother. All of it poured into her performance, making it raw and real. The final chorus built to its crescendo, and Claire gave it everything she had. Her voice soared, powerful and controlled, hitting every note with precision. When the last word faded and the music ended, there was a moment of complete silence. Then the applause erupted. Not polite, obligatory clapping, genuine, enthusiastic applause. Jessica was on her feet cheering. Mrs. Henderson was beaming. Even Mr. Phillips, who'd been stone-faced through most auditions, was nodding appreciatively. Claire felt tears prickling her eyes as she took in the reaction. She'd done it. She'd actually done it. That was absolutely stunning, Mrs. Henderson said, As Claire returned the microphone, "Your emotional delivery was exceptional, and your vocal control is remarkable for someone your age." "Thank you," Claire managed, her voice thick with emotion. She walked off stage in a daze, accepting congratulations from Jessica and several other students she barely knew. For a few minutes, she let herself bask in the success, in the validation she'd been craving. Then reality crashed back in. She pulled out her phone, 3:55 p.m. The audition had lasted maybe 6 minutes, and there were still no messages from her mom. She texted, "Audition's over. Where are you?" The response came quickly. "Still in meeting. Running over. So sorry, honey." "How did it go?" Claire stared at the message, feeling the familiar ache of disappointment settle in her chest. Her mom hadn't come. Again. Another broken promise. Another work commitment that was more important than her. She typed back, "I did good. Don't worry about it." "I'm so sorry, Claire. I really tried. Can we celebrate tonight? Dinner wherever you want?" Claire didn't respond. She shoved her phone in her pocket and tried to focus on Jessica, who was still raving about the performance. "You were absolutely incredible. Like, seriously, I got chills. Everyone was talking about how good you were." "Thanks." Claire forced a smile, but inside she felt hollow. The high of the performance was rapidly fading, replaced by the familiar weight of being let down. "Your mom didn't make it?" Jessica asked gently, noticing Claire's changed demeanor. "Work thing. It's fine." "It's not fine." She promised. She tried. The meeting ran over. It happens. Claire was defending her mother out of habit, but the words felt empty. They walked out of the auditorium together, and Claire tried to shake off the disappointment. She should be happy. She'd nailed the audition. She'd gotten a great response. That should be enough. But it wasn't, because the one person whose opinion mattered most hadn't been there to see it. Emily sat in her office at 5:30 p.m., staring at her phone and hating. The meeting with Peterson had run dramatically over schedule. He'd shown up an hour late due to traffic, then insisted on going through every minor detail of the distribution contract. By the time Emily had tried to excuse herself for Claire's audition, they were deep into negotiations that she couldn't just walk away from without jeopardizing the entire deal. She'd made a choice. Work over family. Again. Brandon knocked on her door frame. "Heading out. You okay? You look stressed." "I missed Claire's audition," Emily said flatly. "I promised I'd be there, and I missed it." The meeting with Peterson ran long. "That wasn't your fault, wasn't it? I could have rescheduled it completely instead of just moving it earlier. I could have left when I said I would. Deal or no deal?" Emily rubbed her temples. "I keep doing this. I keep choosing work. You're in a demanding job." Claire's old enough to understand that. Understanding and accepting are two different things. Emily gathered her things. "I need to go home and try to fix this." She drove through rush hour traffic, her mind racing through apologies and explanations. When she finally pulled into the driveway at 6:15, the house looked dark and unwelcoming. Inside, she found Claire in her room with the door closed. No surprise there. Emily knocked. "Claire, can I come in?" "It's open." Emily entered to find her daughter sitting on her bed, still in the clothes she'd worn to school, staring at her laptop. She looked up at Emily with an expression that was worse than anger. It was resignation. "Honey, I'm so sorry," Emily began. "The meeting ran over and I couldn't—" "I know, you texted me, it's fine." "It's not fine. I promised I'd be there, and I broke that promise. I let you down." Claire closed her laptop. "Mom, can we not do this? Can we not have the whole 'I'm sorry' conversation, where you feel guilty, and I pretend it's okay, and then nothing actually changes?" The words hit harder than any anger could have. Claire, I nailed the audition, by the way. Mrs. Henderson said I was exceptional. People I don't even know came up to me after to say how good it was. Jessica said, I gave her chills. Claire's voice was flat, emotionless. You would have been proud if you'd been there. I am proud. So proud. Can you tell me about it? What song did you sing? Fancy, by Reba McEntire. But I already told you that. You just weren't listening. Emily sat down on the edge of the bed, feeling the gulf between them widening. You're right. I wasn't listening enough. I haven't been present enough. And I know saying I'm sorry isn't enough to fix that. But I want to do better. I want to be there for you. Do you? Claire's blue eyes met hers directly. Because it seems like work will always come first. There's always going to be some meeting, some deal, some crisis that's more important than me. That's not true. You're the most important thing in my life. Then why don't your actions show that? Claire's voice cracked slightly. Why is it that everyone else gets your time and attention and I get whatever's left over? Which is usually nothing. Emily didn't have a good answer. How could she explain that work felt safe, controllable, while this, motherhood, connection, vulnerability, felt terrifying? That it was easier to negotiate multi-million-dollar deals than to navigate the emotional landscape of a teenage daughter? I don't know, she finally admitted. I don't know why I keep making these choices, but I want to change that. Tell me how. Tell me what you need from me. Claire was quiet for a long moment. I need you to be my mom. Not just the person who pays the bills and lives in the same house. I need you to actually see me, to care about what's happening in my life. I need you to show up when you say you will. I can do that. I will do that. You've said that before. Claire's voice was heavy with exhaustion. I'm tired of believing you just to be disappointed again. So maybe it's better if I just don't expect anything. Then at least I won't keep getting hurt. The words broke something in Emily. She reached out and pulled Claire into a hug, feeling her daughter's body stiffen before slowly relaxing. I'm going to prove to you that I can change. I don't know how yet, but I'm going to figure it out. Because you're right. You deserve better than what I've been giving you. They stayed like that for a moment, and Emily felt Claire's tears soaking into her suit jacket. When they finally pulled apart, both of them were crying. I really am proud of you for auditioning, Emily said, and I want to hear all about it. Every detail. What did you wear? How did it feel being on stage? Tell me everything. Claire hesitated, then slowly started talking. She described the nervousness, the moment she started singing, and everything else fell away, the applause afterward. Emily listened without interrupting, without checking her phone, giving her daughter her complete attention. It sounds like you were amazing, Emily said when Claire finished. I wish I could have seen it. Me too. They sat together in Claire's room for another hour, talking about school, about the girls who'd been bullying her, which Claire finally opened up about her fears and hopes. It was the most honest conversation they'd had in months, maybe years. When Emily finally stood to leave, Claire said, Mom, thanks for listening. Always. Well, I should always. I'm going to be better about that. Emily paused at the door. How about we start tomorrow? No work, just us. We can do whatever you want. Really? Really. I'm turning off my work phone for the whole day. Just you and me. Claire's smile was tentative but genuine. Okay, I'd like that. As Emily headed to her own room, she felt both terrible about missing the audition and hopeful about this small step forward. She'd made promises before and broken them, but this time felt different. This time she understood what was at stake. Not just Claire's trust, but their entire relationship. She had to do better. And starting tomorrow, she would. Saturday morning arrived with clear blue skies and temperatures finally warming back to normal November levels. Emily woke early, powered down her work phone without even checking it, and made pancakes from scratch, something she hadn't done in at least 2 years. Claire appeared in the kitchen at 9, looking surprised to see her mother not only awake but cooking. "Is everything okay? You're not usually home on Saturday mornings." "Everything's fine. I told you. Today is about us." Emily flipped a pancake expertly. "Blueberry or chocolate chip?" "Both?" Claire said hopefully. "Both, it is." They ate breakfast together at the kitchen table, and Emily tried to remember the last time they'd done this. Before the divorce, probably. Back when Saturday mornings meant family time, not catching up on work. "So what do you want to do today?" Emily asked. "Anything you want. Shopping, movies, hiking. Your choice." Claire considered this while pouring syrup on her pancakes. "Can we go downtown? I want to visit some of the record stores on Broadway. And maybe walk around the Parthenon?" "Sounds perfect." They spent the morning browsing through vinyl records at Grimey's and Ernest Tubb Record Shop, Claire excitedly showing her mother various classic country albums. Emily found herself genuinely enjoying it, seeing her daughter's passion come alive as she talked about different artists and their influences. "This is what I love about country music," Claire said, holding up a Loretta Lynn album. "It tells real stories about real people. It's not afraid to tackle difficult subjects, poverty, abuse, resilience. It's honest." "I never thought about it that way," Emily admitted. "In my job, I mostly deal with the business side. Sales numbers, streaming statistics, tour schedules. I forget sometimes that it's about the art, the stories." "That's kind of sad. You work with music, but don't really hear it anymore." The observation stung because it was accurate. When had Emily stopped listening to music for pleasure and started only hearing it as a product? They grabbed lunch at Martin's barbecue joint, sharing a plate of ribs and talking about Claire's hopes for the talent show results. "When do they announce who made it into the actual show?" Emily asked. "Monday afternoon. They're posting the list outside the music room." Claire dipped a French fry in barbecue sauce. "I think I have a good chance, but there were some really talented people auditioning. From what you described, you were one of the talented ones." "Maybe. I just really want this, you know? I want to prove that I can do something meaningful, something that matters." Emily reached across the table and squeezed her daughter's hand. "You already do things that matter. You matter, Claire. Just by being you." Claire's eyes glistened slightly. "Thanks, Mom." After lunch, they walked through Centennial Park to see the Parthenon. The full-scale replica of the ancient Greek structure stood majestically against the autumn sky, and they spent time exploring the art museum inside and taking photos. "Can we take a selfie?" Claire asked. "For proof that we actually did something together?" Emily laughed. "Am I really that bad?" "Yes," Claire said, but she was smiling. "Come on, get in the frame." They posed together, and Emily was struck by how much her daughter looked like her at that age. Same dark hair, same determined expression. When had Claire grown up so much? As they drove home in the late afternoon, Claire said, "This was really nice. Can we do it again sometime?" "Absolutely. I want to make this a regular thing. Quality time. Just us. Even if work gets crazy, even then. I'm going to set boundaries. My assistant can handle emergencies, and anything else can wait until Monday." Claire looked skeptical but hopeful. "Okay, I'll believe it when I see it." "Fair enough. I have to earn back your trust." That evening, as Emily sat in her home office, supposedly working but mostly reflecting on the day, an idea began forming. Claire loved Reba McEntire, not just loved, was passionate about her music. in a way that Emily rarely saw her passionate about anything. And Emily had connections in the music industry, including several people who knew Reba personally. What if she could arrange something special? Not just for Claire's birthday or a holiday, but as a genuine gesture of support for her daughter's talent and dreams? Emily opened her laptop and pulled up her contacts. She scrolled through until she found the name she was looking for: Linda Patterson, a veteran publicist who'd worked with Reba's team for years. They'd collaborated on several projects, and Linda owed Emily a favor from when Emily had helped one of Linda's newer clients secure a record deal. Before she could overthink it, Emily typed out an email. "Linda, hope you're well. I'm reaching out about something personal rather than business-related. My 16-year-old daughter Claire is an aspiring singer and a huge Reba McEntire fan. She recently performed Fancy at her school talent show audition and absolutely killed it. I know this is a big ask, but is there any way to arrange a brief meet and greet with Reba? Even just 15 minutes would mean the world to Claire. She's been going through a tough time lately, and I'd love to do something special to show her I support her dreams. I understand Reba's schedule is incredibly busy, but if there's any possibility, I'd be extremely grateful. I'm happy to work around any timing or location constraints. Let me know if this is even feasible. Best, Emily." She read it over 3 times before hitting send, her heart pounding. This was probably crazy. Reba McEntire was a country music icon, a legend. The chances of arranging a meeting were slim to none, but Emily had to try. For Claire, she had to at least try. Sunday passed in a similar vein. Emily staying present, putting her phone away during conversations, actually listening when Claire talked. They cooked dinner together, watched a movie, and Emily felt like she was rediscovering her daughter. Monday morning brought Emily back to reality with a vengeance. Her inbox was flooded with urgent emails, and Brandon called before 8 a.m. about a crisis with one of their touring artists who'd gotten food poisoning and had to cancel 2 shows. But Emily had made a promise to herself and to Claire, so she handled the crisis efficiently, delegated what she could, and made sure to leave work by 5 p.m., something she hadn't done in months. She texted Claire, "How did the talent show list go?" The response came quickly. "I made it. I'm performing in the show next Friday. Mrs. Henderson said my audition was one of the best." Emily felt a surge of pride and excitement. "That's amazing! So proud of you! Celebratory dinner tonight?" "Yes. Can we get sushi?" "Absolutely. I'll pick you up from home at 6. Anywhere you want to go." For the first time in a long time, Emily felt like she was getting it right. She was showing up, being present, supporting her daughter's dreams. It wasn't perfect. She still had to field work calls and respond to emails, but she was trying. Really trying. Tuesday afternoon, Emily's phone buzzed with an email from Linda Patterson. Her heart leaped as she opened it. "Emily, what a lovely request. I spoke with Reba's team, and as luck would have it, she's going to be in Nashville next week doing some recording sessions at Ocean Way Studios. She was touched by your email and would be happy to meet Claire. Would Thursday, November 21st work? Around 2 p.m. at the studio? She'll have about 30 minutes between sessions. Obviously, this needs to stay quiet. No social media, no press. Just a private special moment for your daughter. Let me know if this works, and I'll coordinate the details. Warmly, Linda." Emily read the email 3 times, hardly believing it was real. Reba McEntire, actual Reba McEntire, was willing to meet Claire. Next Thursday. This was happening. She immediately called Linda back. "This is incredible. Thank you so much. Yes, Thursday works perfectly. What do I need to do?" They worked out the logistics. Emily would need to pick Claire up from school early, under the guise of a doctor's appointment, drive her to the studio, and surprise her there. No advance warning, no chance for Claire to get too nervous or for word to leak to others. After hanging up, Emily sat back in her chair, a smile spreading across her face. This was it, the gesture that would show Claire she was serious about being a better mother, about supporting her dreams. The meeting with Reba would be proof that Emily truly listened, truly cared. She just had to keep it secret for 9 more days. The following week was a strange dance of normal routine and suppressed excitement. Emily maintained her new commitment to being more present, leaving work at reasonable hours, having dinner with Claire most nights, actually asking about her day, and listening to the answers. Claire was consumed with practicing for the talent show, running through fancy dozens of times, perfecting every note and gesture. Emily would sit on the stairs outside Claire's room, listening to her daughter's beautiful voice fill the house, feeling a mix of pride and regret. Pride in Claire's talent, regret that it had taken her so long to truly appreciate it. On Wednesday evening, the night before the surprise meeting with Reba, Emily found Claire in her room surrounded by different outfit options. "What's all this?" Emily asked, leaning against the door frame, trying to figure out what to wear for the talent show Friday. "I want to look good, but not like I'm trying too hard." Claire held up a black dress. "Too formal?" "Maybe a little." "What about that burgundy blouse you wore to your audition?" "That looked great on you." "Yeah, but everyone's already seen me in that." "So, if it makes you feel confident, that's what matters." Emily walked into the room and sat on the bed. "You know, when I was your age, I used to overthink every outfit choice. Your Aunt Lauren would have to literally pull clothes out of my hands and tell me what to wear." Claire smiled. "Really? You always seem so put together." "Now, maybe. But at 16, I was a mess of insecurity and anxiety." Emily picked up the burgundy blouse. "This really does suit you. And there's something to be said for having a signature piece. Something that makes you feel like yourself." "Okay, I'll wear the blouse." Claire set aside the other options. "Thanks, Mom." "Anytime." Emily paused, thinking about tomorrow's surprise. "By the way, you have a doctor's appointment tomorrow at 2. Just a regular checkup. I'll pick you up from school at 1:30. Claire frowned. "I don't remember scheduling an appointment." "I did. You're due for your annual physical." The lie came easily, though Emily felt a twinge of guilt. But it was for a good cause. "Okay, I'll let the office know I'll be leaving early." Emily stood to leave, then turned back. "Claire, I'm really proud of you. Not just for the talent show, but for everything. You're an amazing person, and I'm lucky to be your mom." Claire looked surprised by the sudden sentimentality. "Thanks? That means a lot. I mean it. And I know I haven't always shown it, but I'm working on that. I want you to know how much you matter to me." "I know, Mom." Claire's voice was soft. "I can see you're trying. It's been different lately." "Better." "Good. Because I plan to keep trying. Every day." That night, Emily barely slept, excitement and nervousness warring in her chest. Tomorrow, she would give Claire something special, something that showed she truly understood and supported her daughter's passion. And maybe, just maybe, it would help bridge the gap between them even more. She just hoped Claire's reaction would be worth it. Thursday morning dawned crisp and clear, and Emily woke with butterflies in her stomach that she hadn't felt since her own teenage years. She went through her morning routine on autopilot, her mind already at Ocean Way Studios, imagining Claire's face when she realized what was happening. At breakfast, Claire seemed distracted, running through lyrics under her breath while eating her cereal. "You okay?" Emily asked. "Yeah, just practicing. The show's tomorrow night, and I want to make sure I don't forget anything." "You're going to be perfect. You've practiced enough that it's muscle memory at this point. I hope so. Claire checked her phone. I should get going. Jessica's mom is giving me a ride. Remember, I'm picking you up at 1:30 for your appointment. Right. The physical. Got it. After Claire left, Emily allowed herself a moment of pure anticipation. In just a few hours, she'd be witnessing something she'd never forget. Her daughter meeting her idol. The morning at work dragged endlessly. Emily tried to focus on emails and phone calls, but her mind kept wandering to the afternoon ahead. Brandon noticed her distraction. You're jumpy today. Everything all right? Everything's great. Just excited about something this afternoon? The mysterious appointment you blocked out? You never block out time on Thursdays. Emily smiled. It's for Claire. That's all I'm saying. At 1:15, she left the office and drove to Hillsborough High School. She texted Claire when she arrived. Here whenever you're ready. Claire emerged 5 minutes later, backpack slung over one shoulder, looking tired from the morning's classes. She climbed into the car and buckled her seatbelt. This appointment better be quick, she said. I have homework to finish tonight. It won't take long. Promise. Emily pulled out of the parking lot, heading not toward any doctor's office but toward Music Row and Ocean Way Studios. They drove in comfortable silence for a few minutes before Claire looked around, frowning. This isn't the way to Dr. Morrison's office. That's because we're not going to Dr. Morrison's office. What? Mom, you said I had a doctor's appointment. I lied. Sorry. But I had to get you out of school without spoiling the surprise. Claire's expression shifted from confusion to suspicion. What surprise? What's going on? Emily couldn't keep the smile off her face. You'll see in about 5 minutes. Mom, you're being weird. Where are we going? Trust me. It's good. Really, really good. They turned onto Music Row, passing the iconic buildings that housed record labels, publishing companies, and studios. Claire sat up straighter, recognition dawning. Are we going to your office? Is this about the talent show? Did you invite someone from Meridian to watch? Not exactly. Emily pulled into the parking lot of Ocean Way Studios and turned off the car. We're here. Here where? This is a recording studio. I know. Come on. Emily got out, and Claire followed, clearly bewildered. They walked to the entrance where a security guard stood. Emily Caldwell and daughter, Emily said. Linda Patterson is expecting us. The guard checked his list and nodded. Head on in. She's waiting in the lounge. As they walked through the legendary studio, where countless country music greats had recorded over the decades, Claire's confusion only deepened. Mom, seriously, what is happening? Linda appeared in the hallway, a warm smile on her face. Emily, and you must be Claire. I've heard wonderful things about you. Thank you? Claire looked at her mother. Mom? Linda, thank you so much for arranging this, Emily said. My pleasure. She's in Studio B, just finishing up. She'll be ready in about 5 minutes. Linda turned to Claire. Your mom tells me you're a talented singer. I guess? I sing? Claire was clearly trying to piece together what was happening. And you're a fan of classic country? Yes, especially. Claire stopped mid-sentence, her eyes going wide. Wait, she? Who's she? Linda smiled knowingly. Why don't we head to the lounge, and you'll find out soon enough. They walked down the hallway, and Emily watched her daughter's face cycle through confusion, suspicion, and the beginnings of hope. The lounge was a comfortable room with leather couches, gold and platinum records on the walls, and huge windows overlooking the main studio. Have a seat, Linda said. Can I get you anything? Water? Soda? I'm fine, Claire said faintly, sinking onto one of the couches. She turned to Emily. Mom, please tell me what's going on. My heart is racing. Emily sat beside her and took her hand. "A couple weeks ago, I realized something. I've been so focused on work, on my career, that I haven't been truly seeing you. I haven't been supporting your dreams the way I should, and I wanted to do something to show you that I'm paying attention, that I care about what matters to you." "Okay." Claire's voice was barely a whisper. "You love Reba McEntire's music. You connect with it in a way that's beautiful to watch. And I know I wasn't there for your audition, which I'll always regret. But I can do this." Emily squeezed her daughter's hand. "Reba's here today, recording, and she's agreed to meet you." For a long moment, Claire just stared at her mother, not breathing. Then, "What? Reba McEntire? Actual Reba McEntire?" "Actual Reba McEntire. She'll be here in just a few minutes." "Oh my God! Oh my God!" Claire's hands were shaking. "Mom, are you serious? This isn't a joke?" "Not a joke. Completely serious." Claire stood up, then sat down again, then stood up once more. "I can't. I don't. What do I say? What if I can't talk? What if I just stand there like an idiot?" Emily laughed, standing to hug her daughter. "You're going to be fine. Just be yourself." That's what she wants to meet, the talented girl who sings her songs with so much passion. This is insane. This is the most insane thing ever. Claire was on the verge of happy tears. How is this possible? "I have some connections, and I called in a favor. Because you're worth it, Claire. You're worth all of it." Before Claire could respond, the door opened, and Linda poked her head in. "She's ready for you." Claire grabbed Emily's hand so tightly it hurt. "Come with me. I can't do this alone." "Of course. I'm right here." They followed Linda down the hallway to Studio B. Through the glass, Emily could see someone moving inside, but the lights were positioned so she couldn't make out details. Linda opened the door, and they stepped inside. Reba McEntire stood near the microphone, wearing jeans and a casual button-down shirt, her famous red hair pulled back in a ponytail. She turned when they entered, and her face broke into a warm smile. "Well, hello there. You must be Claire." Claire made a small sound that might have been yes, or might have just been a squeak. Emily felt her daughter's hand trembling in hers. Reba walked over, extending her hand. "I'm Reba. It's so nice to meet you, honey." Claire somehow found her voice. I'm a huge fan. Your music has meant so much to me. I can't believe I'm actually meeting you." "Well, I'm honored. Your mama told me you performed Fancy at your school talent show. That's one of my favorites to perform. It's got such a powerful story." "It does," Claire said, her confidence growing slightly. "I love how it's about transformation and rising above circumstances. It's not just a song, it's a whole narrative." "Exactly. That's what I always loved about it, too." Reba gestured to the studio space. "Want to sit down and chat for a bit? I've got about 30 minutes before my next session." They settled onto stools near the mixing board, and Emily hung back slightly, giving Claire space for this moment while still being present. She watched as her daughter's initial nervousness began to melt away under Reba's genuine warmth and interest. "Your mom said you've been singing for a while. How did you get into country music? Most kids your age are listening to pop or hip-hop." Claire's eyes lit up as she started talking about her love for the genre, about discovering classic country through her grandmother's record collection, about how the honest storytelling resonated with her in ways modern pop music didn't. "I think country music tells the truth," Claire said. "It's not afraid to talk about real problems, real emotions, like your song, The Greatest Man I Never Knew. That's about such a complicated relationship, and you sing it with so much honesty that it just breaks your heart." "That one's deeply personal to me," Reba said softly. It was about my father and the distance between us before he passed. Some songs are harder to sing than others because they touch those real places. That's what I'm discovering. When I performed Fancy, I was thinking about my own life. Not the same circumstances, obviously, but the feeling of wanting to be something more, of feeling invisible sometimes. And all that emotion came through in the performance. That's what makes a great singer, Reba said. Technical skill is important, but connecting emotionally with a song, that's what makes people remember you. It sounds like you've got that natural instinct. Claire blushed. Thank you. That means everything coming from you. They talked for 20 minutes about music, about the challenges of performing, about finding your voice as an artist. Emily watched the conversation with a full heart, seeing her daughter completely in her element, engaged and passionate. This was the girl she'd been missing. Vibrant, articulate, alive. At one point, Reba asked, "So, what are your plans after high school? Are you thinking about pursuing music professionally?" Claire glanced at Emily before answering. "I want to. I'm not sure if it's realistic, but it's my dream. I'd love to study music in college, maybe at Belmont or Vanderbilt. Both great schools. Nashville's the right place to be if you want a career in country music." Reba looked thoughtful. "You know, I didn't start out as a star. I spent years singing at rodeos and local events, working my way up. The path isn't always straightforward, but if you've got the talent and the determination, you can make it happen." "Did you ever want to give up?" Claire asked. "Many times, especially in the beginning when I was getting rejected left and right. But my mama always told me that if you love something enough, you find a way to make it work. And she was right." They talked a bit more before Linda appeared at the door, indicating that time was up. Reba stood, and Claire did the same, looking reluctant for the meeting to end. "Before you go," Reba said, "would you sing something for me? Just a verse and chorus of anything you want. I'd love to hear your voice." Claire's eyes went wide. "Sing? For you? Right now? Only if you're comfortable. No pressure." Claire looked at Emily, who nodded encouragingly. "You can do this, sweetheart." Taking a deep breath, Claire positioned herself near the microphone. "Can I do Fancy, since it's the one I performed at my audition?" "Perfect choice." Reba adjusted the microphone height for Claire and stepped back. The room fell silent. Claire closed her eyes for a moment, finding her center, then began to sing. Her voice filled the studio, clear, powerful, emotional. She sang the first verse and chorus of Fancy with complete commitment, every word precise, every note true. Emily felt tears streaming down her face as she watched her daughter perform, realizing fully for the first time just how talented Claire truly was. When Claire finished, Reba was nodding with obvious approval. "Honey, you've got something special. That was really, really good. Your tone is beautiful, and your emotional delivery is beyond your years." Claire was beaming, tears of joy on her cheeks. "Thank you. Thank you so much. Keep working at it. Keep performing whenever you get the chance, and don't let anyone tell you that you can't make it in this industry. You've got what it takes." Reba gave Claire a hug, then pulled back with a smile. "Your talent show is tomorrow night, right?" "Yes, ma'am." "Knock 'em dead and send your mama a video. I'd love to see the full performance." "I will. I absolutely will." They said their goodbyes, and Linda walked them back through the studio. Claire was floating, unable to stop smiling, barely able to form coherent sentences. "That just happened? That actually just happened. I sang for Reba McEntire. She heard me sing and said I was good. She said I was good." In the car ride home, Claire couldn't stop talking, reliving every moment of the meeting. Emily listened with a smile, occasionally offering her own observations, but mostly just letting her daughter bask in the joy of the experience. "I can't believe you did this for me," Claire said as they pulled into their driveway. "This is the best thing anyone has ever done for me. How did you even think of it?" "Because I've been listening, really listening. And I realized how much her music means to you, how much singing means to you. I wanted to show you that I support your dreams, that I'm paying attention now." Claire unbuckled her seatbelt and turned to face her mother fully. "Mom, I know things have been rough between us, and I know you've been trying really hard lately, but this shows me that you really do care. Not just about me in general, but about the things that matter to me specifically. I do care. So much. And I'm sorry it took me so long to show it properly." Emily reached over and brushed a strand of hair from Claire's face. "You're the most important thing in my life, Claire. Not work, not success, not any of it. You." They hugged across the center console, both of them crying happy tears. When they finally pulled apart, Claire said, "I'm going to absolutely kill it at the talent show tomorrow. For you. And for Reba. No, do it for yourself. That's what matters most." Friday evening arrived with a nervous energy that filled their house. Claire spent hours getting ready, doing her makeup and hair with Jessica via video chat, trying on the burgundy blouse 3 times before deciding it was perfect. Emily had taken the entire afternoon off from work, actually blocked it out as unavailable in her calendar, to be there for Claire. She helped her daughter with last-minute preparations, drove her to the school early so Claire could do a sound check, and found a seat in the 3rd row of the auditorium. The place filled up quickly with students, parents, and teachers. Emily saw Jessica wave from a few rows back, and she waved in return. The lights dimmed, and the show began. There were 15 acts total, ranging from dance performances to comedy routines to musical numbers. Some were excellent, some were clearly nervous, but everyone got supportive applause. Claire was scheduled to perform 12th, and Emily could see her daughter peeking out from backstage, her face a mixture of excitement and nerves. Finally, Mrs. Henderson took the microphone. "Our next performer is Claire Caldwell, singing Fancy by Reba McEntire. Let's give her a warm welcome." The curtain opened to reveal Claire standing center stage, the spotlight illuminating her burgundy blouse. She looked poised, confident, and Emily felt her heart swell with pride. The opening notes began, and Claire started to sing. She was magnificent, even better than Emily had imagined. Every note was perfect, every word delivered with emotional authenticity. Claire commanded the stage, her voice rising and falling with the story's dramatic arc. She wasn't just performing the song, she was living it, embodying every emotion. Emily watched through tears as her daughter poured her heart into the performance. Around her, the audience was completely silent, captivated. Even the students, who'd been whispering during other acts, were paying full attention. When Claire hit the final high note and the music faded, there was a beat of stunned silence. Then, the auditorium erupted. People jumped to their feet. A standing ovation. Students were cheering, parents were applauding enthusiastically, and Mrs. Henderson was beaming from the judges' table. Claire stood on stage looking overwhelmed, tears streaming down her face, smiling so wide it must have hurt. She took a bow, and the applause grew even louder. Emily was on her feet, clapping until her hands hurt, not caring that tears were streaming down her face. That was her daughter up there, her talented, brave, incredible daughter. As Claire exited the stage, Emily could see Jessica rushing to meet her in the wings. The rest of the performances continued, but Emily barely registered them. Her mind was still on Claire's performance, on the pride and joy she felt. When the show ended and they announced the winners, best overall performance went to Claire, unsurprisingly. Emily waited in the lobby for her daughter to emerge from backstage. When Claire finally appeared, still holding her trophy, she ran straight into Emily's arms. "You were there! You were actually there, and you saw it!" Claire said, laughing and crying at the same time. "I wouldn't have missed it for anything. You were absolutely perfect, even better than perfect." I felt Reba watching me. I know she wasn't, but I felt her presence, her encouragement. And I thought about what she said, about connecting emotionally with the song. And it all just clicked. They stood there hugging in the middle of the crowded lobby, both crying happy tears, until Jessica and her parents came over to congratulate Claire. Other students stopped by too, some offering genuine praise, others clearly reassessing their earlier judgments about her. Madison Pierce, surprisingly, approached with what looked like sincere admiration. "That was really amazing, Claire. I had no idea you could sing like that." "Thanks," Claire said cautiously. "I'm serious. You killed it up there." After Madison walked away, Claire turned to Emily with wide eyes. "Did that just happen? Apparently, your performance broke through some barriers." "Huh, who knew?" Later that night, at home, Emily and Claire sat in the living room eating ice cream and watching the video Jessica had recorded of the performance. Emily had already sent it to Linda, who'd promised to pass it along to Reba. "I can't believe this week," Claire said, pausing the video on a particularly good shot of her hitting a high note. "Meeting Reba, winning the talent show, Madison Pierce being almost nice to me. It's surreal." "You earned all of it," Emily said. "Your talent, your hard work, your courage to get up on that stage, that's all you. But you made the Reba thing happen. And you've been different lately. More present. More like a mom." Emily set down her ice cream. "I'm trying to be better. Not just trying, I'm going to be better. I've realized that all the success in the world doesn't mean anything if I don't have a real relationship with you. I've noticed. You've been home for dinner almost every night this week. You actually listen when I talk. You turned off your work phone last Saturday." Claire paused. "I'm not used to it yet, but I like it." "Good, because I'm planning to keep it up. I've already talked to Brandon about delegating more, about setting better boundaries. My job is important, but you're more important." Claire smiled, a genuine, warm smile that Emily hadn't seen in far too long. "Thanks, Mom, for everything. For the Reba meeting, for coming to the show, for actually being here. It means everything to me. Thank you for giving me another chance. I know I messed up a lot, and I know rebuilding trust takes time, but I'm committed to this, to us." They finished their ice cream and talked late into the night about Claire's plans for the future, about possibly applying to music programs at universities, about her dreams of performing professionally. Emily listened without judgment, without trying to steer Claire toward practical choices, just supporting whatever her daughter wanted to pursue. Around midnight, Claire yawned and stretched. "I should probably sleep. I'm exhausted." Good exhausted or bad exhausted? The best kind. The kind where you've accomplished something amazing and your body finally relaxes. Claire stood and hugged her mother. "Love you, Mom. Love you too, sweetheart. So proud of you." As Claire headed upstairs, Emily's phone buzzed with an email. It was from Linda, with FYI in the subject line. Emily opened it to find a forwarded message from Reba. "Linda, just watched Claire's talent show performance. That girl is special. She's got the voice, the stage presence, and the emotional intelligence that you can't teach. Tell her mama she should be incredibly proud. If Claire ever wants to come watch a recording session or needs advice as she pursues music, My door's open. I see real potential in her. Best, Reba. Emily read the message 3 times, tears blurring her vision. She forwarded it to Claire with a simple note. She watched, and she believes in you, just like I do. Upstairs, she heard Claire's excited squeal, followed by footsteps thundering down the stairs. Claire appeared in the living room doorway, phone in hand, eyes wide. "Mom, did you see? She said, I can't—" Claire couldn't seem to finish a sentence, overwhelmed with emotion. Emily stood and pulled her daughter into another hug. "I saw. You impressed Reba McEntire. Do you understand how incredible that is? This is the best day of my life, officially. Nothing will ever top this." They stayed up another hour, replaying the performance video, reading and rereading Reba's message, talking about what this could mean for Claire's future. When Claire finally went to bed for real, Emily sat alone in the quiet house, reflecting on the past few weeks. She'd almost lost her daughter to her own ambition and workaholism. The distance between them had grown so wide that Emily had stopped seeing Claire as a person with her own dreams and struggles, viewing her instead as just another responsibility to manage between meetings. But something had shifted. Maybe it was the guilt of missing the audition. Maybe it was the raw honesty of Claire's pain. Or maybe it was simply being forced to confront what she was losing. Whatever the catalyst, Emily had finally woken up to what mattered most. And the truth was, being present for Claire, really present, hadn't cost her as much as she'd feared. Yes, she'd had to set boundaries at work, to delegate more, to say no to some opportunities. But her career hadn't collapsed. If anything, she was more focused during work hours because she wasn't carrying the constant weight of guilt and distance. More importantly, she'd gained something infinitely more valuable: a real relationship with her daughter. The smiles, the conversations, the shared moments of joy. These were worth more than any professional achievement. Emily's phone buzzed one more time. A text from her sister Lauren. "Saw on Jessica's Instagram that Claire won the talent show. So proud of my niece. How are you doing?" Emily smiled and typed back, "I'm doing really well. We're doing really well. I'll call you tomorrow and tell you everything. Can't wait. Love you both." "Love you too." Emily turned off her phone and headed upstairs, pausing outside Claire's room. Soft light showed under the door, and she could hear faint music playing. Reba, of course. She almost knocked, but decided to let her daughter have this moment of private celebration. Instead, Emily went to her own room, changed into pajamas, and climbed into bed, feeling something she hadn't felt in years: contentment. Not the hollow satisfaction of a successful deal or a big promotion, but genuine, deep contentment that came from knowing she was exactly where she needed to be, doing exactly what she needed to do. Tomorrow would bring new challenges. Claire would still be a teenager with teenage problems. Emily would still have a demanding career, but they'd face it together now as a real team, with honest communication and mutual support. The simple gesture of listening, really listening to her daughter, had led to this, had led to meeting Reba, to witnessing Claire's triumph, to rebuilding their relationship. Sometimes the most profound changes came from the smallest shifts in attention and priority. As Emily drifted off to sleep, she heard Claire's voice through the walls, singing softly along to one of Reba's songs. And Emily smiled, grateful for music, for second chances, and for the brave, talented daughter who'd reminded her what truly mattered in life.